now that's not quite right. So I wouldn't recommend going down there in a hurry.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
may want a trip to the Galleon, I will mention that. So, obviously, you're looking at that. You've got the things that you said. It's Cowden Beef and Sheffield this weekend. The following weekend, obviously, Easter, Madness of Easter, and then down to Mildenhall and then Taunton. You're cracking up the miles.
Yeah.
It's going to take some effort. I mean, you've got a good race team there, I can see. I mean, the banter certainly is flying about on the old on the internet.
Well, I guess that's still the priority, isn't it? Is to make sure you're enjoying it. This is a hobby. You know, winning's great and everything, but you know, the main priority, the main thing about it is that you're enjoying it and the team are enjoying it. And you know, that's as long as you're enjoying it, I think it helps your performance as well. And you know, as long as we're all having a good time, then we'll keep doing it.
That's a perfect line to sum up that season so far. He has worked hard. He has raced hard. But more importantly, he has played hard. And, well, as we'll find out in the next bit, the rest of the season was quite good as well.
Missed an episode of the FT show? Missed this.
Or a 3-2-1. Perhaps he should have won a dusty bin.
Yes, the spirit of Temp Rogers still lives on. 3-2-1. I'm doing the gesture now.
Heard 1-on-1? No?
If you're still needed, we are there for the drivers.
What about some of our race commentaries? You missed that?
Both go out! They both go out! And Michael Scriven takes it on the line!
Don't worry, you can listen again on Spreaker.com/Stocks Radio, and you can even download and keep them and put them on your MP3 player and listen to them on the way to the track.
Like some people do, weirdos.
Missed an episode of Stocks Radio? I feel your pain, brother. Missing an episode can bring on mental episodes and life-changing circumstances. However, there is a solution on the horizon. iTunes! Simply open up iTunes, go to podcasts and search for Stocks Radio. Hit subscribe and it doesn't cost you a penny. And the next episode is dropped straight into your listening device. Rate, review and subscribe and never miss an episode again. Warning, missing an episode doesn't actually bring on mental episodes. Your experience may differ. The stocks can go down as well as up. Your home is at risk if you set fire to it.
The F2 Show.
Welcome back to Stocks Radio. And we're looking at the Champions Year. Geomac's Golden Year. But just to bring you out, as an aside before we head back to the story of George McMillan, we'll be telling you what exactly we will be doing at Hensford. Now, as you heard in that little clip there, in the advert, you know, where Michael Scriven took it, yeah, even I can make a race at Hensford sound a little bit exciting. So, World Final at Hensford. Now, bearing in mind they're aiming to get that one over and done with by 6 o'clock, so by like say 7, 8 o'clock we should be doing that. I'm not hanging about. I'm heading straight home after the World Final, and I'm aiming to give you the live, or as live, commentary, an interview with the world champion, the new world champion, the runners, the riders, the stories, the makers, and the candlestick takers, shall we say. So, the plaudit makers and the plaudit takers. That's a good line. That's a good line, John. I will use that again. So, let's get back to the story of George's golden year. And, well, he was talking about, in the interview we just heard, about his shale form. Now, his shale form certainly did improve over that year and certainly became a talking point at the time. Now, with George firmly concentrated on that, he then topped the World Championship qualifying round points and gave himself a good things. But on the horizon, in the race for silver, Chris Burgoyne found a rich vein of form and has closed, well now, the gap stands at just over 100 points. So with a grandstand finish going for the race for silver, let's concentrate on the race for gold. Like I say, George McMillan ended up top scoring as the leading scorer in the World Championship qualifying round series, taking numerous rounds along the way and taking in very much of it, and including a little Cornish holiday where he was treated like absolute royalty, having the pace car, the trophy, the gold roof, everything put on for him fantastically, and even at the Neil Truman barbecue that year was certainly a sight to behold. So, what happened at the semi-finals? We went to Skegness, we all went, and it was an interesting day. Now, George was in the quieter semi-final, but unfortunately, his semi-final ended fairly quickly.
And it is number 1, George McMillan, who goes in. He's gone. McMillan's gone. Oh, and Hooper's gone. But as Palmer put the bumper in, but Burgoyne goes into the lead. Jamie Conway's up in second. Hooper's up in third.
And that was the story of the World Championship there. And that incident had basically Neil Hooper pumping Andrew Palmer over the top of George McMillan, which burst his wishbone. And with that wishbone, George managed to keep the car on the island, but it was very limping, and he managed to get it home for 8th place. Now, 8th place in a world final is a fair way down the high street, as many people will tell you. But as Mark Simpson and James Riger will tell you, you've got to be in it to win it. So, with a lot of favoured runners still having to qualify for the consolation semi, I spoke to him at some time, and it was going to be a case that we need to have a look at this. So I spoke to George in his last full meeting as world champion down at Taunton, of all places, whilst another world final was being decided. The Bangers, Brett Edicott won that one, and there was other world champions there as well. The New Saloon world champion Simon Melton, and of course the outgoing Banger world champion Steve Carter. So with the parade of world champions there, I had a caught 5 minutes of George's time just to sum up what a year he's had. And of course, with George having a good year, it's always is good to see that he's a great team alongside him. Like I say, I caught up with him just before the meeting started on yesterday.
Okay, we're here with George McMillan on his last meeting with the Gold Cup for this year. We'll be positive. George, it's been one hell of a year.
Yeah, it's been good. It really has been a dream come true. Just when you win it, you've got to assume it's going to be the only time you win it, so you need to make the most of it, and we've just tried to do everything we could and show it off as much as possible.
Of course, let's go back to that wonderful, fantastic night in Fife 12 months ago. I mean, you went into the race probably not thinking that you had a chance, but you certainly, come to the shake of it, you certainly were in the shake-up.
Yeah, wasn't really feeling the Cowdy World Final, if I'm honest. At that time it wasn't one of my best tracks. It's kind of, we weren't sure. I was more comfortable at tracks like Taunton and Bath the years before, Skegness and the likes. But I guess it doesn't really matter how comfortable you are. If it's supposed to happen, then it's going to happen, in it.
So just talk us through it. Obviously, you've now had a year to reflect on it. How did it feel crossing that line?
It's all a bit of a blur, really, to be honest. It was good. After Taunton the year before, I didn't let myself think anything about it until we were actually across the line and it was done. So, I don't know, a sense of relief. Yeah, just excitement. It was just brilliant.
A busy man, obviously going up and down every track in the country and then doing forays into Ireland and Holland as well. What's been the highlight this year?
I don't know, there's been so many. Just the car being so good everywhere we go, being able to win races for the back, often. Chasing silver, having the race with Burgoyne we're having, chasing the silver roof, it's been great fun. I've enjoyed every minute of it, really.
And of course, you start 8th row. No, it's not 11th row, isn't it? 11th, 8th in the semi. Obviously, with a car that was a little bit worse for wear in the semi, which obviously hampered your progress. But this time, you're looking at probably a slightly different game plan, I dare say.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's going to be a bit of a banger race. We're going to need a couple of red flags at the start, maybe move us up a few rows before we actually settle down and get going. And then even then, we're probably going to need a couple of yellow flags later, halfway through or something to let us catch up again. But, you never know. You don't know what's going to happen. You've just got to do what you can and race your own race, do the best you can and hope that it all kind of comes into play for you.
Of course, you'd actually like to take the lead in the World Final, wouldn't you?
Yeah. I've led every World Final. 2012, 13, 14. Yeah, it would be 4th World Final in a row if I got to the lead.
Well, like I said, in the last 2 years, you inherited it.
Yeah.
So, looking back on your year, obviously, it's been a momentous year for you. Rewritten the book on how to be a world champion. What do you think has made you different to previous world champions?
I don't know. We've just made such an effort. We've tried to go everywhere. I don't know. Just, there's the world champions we've had before have been good. They've been good for the sport and they've done a lot. And I don't know. We've just went absolutely nuts and tried to race everywhere as often as we could. But yeah,
it's good to see. And obviously, you got a fair good team. Obviously, you want to say thank you to them.
Oh yeah, of course. I certainly wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for them. Everybody says that, but it's never truer than it is with us. Dave's got the car most of the time. He
That's probably Dave Bottom.
Yeah. And it makes it a lot easier for me travelling from Scotland all the time to come down to meetings. And if we had the car up the road, there's just absolutely no chance we could race half as often as we do, and we wouldn't be half as good as we are either. So
you're here at Taunton today. There's a meeting up at Crimmins. Obviously, your workplace is in Aberdeen. Why did you come down here today?
Well, we could have went to Crimmins and I could have been home for 8 o'clock. But we thought we'd come to Taunton, because what am I going to do after 8 tonight if I'm at home? But no, that's the thing. That's just how important, Dave and the rest of the guys are at the team. It's if we raced Crimmins today, then we would have had the car up the road and the week leading up to the World Final, or we could come to Taunton and Dave's got the car leading up to the World Final to get it ready for us and do it properly. So that's why we're here. And
any highlights from the non-stocks variety for the past year?
Our Goldrift party was great fun. Even just like awards night, the NEC, Autosport show at the NEC, unbelievable. Being there as world champion, that was something else.
Yeah, and piped on and piped off.
Yeah, and also we're trip down to the southwest, down to Cornwall, staying at Neil Trurin's and Neil looking after us, Neil and Tina. That was a big highlight as well. That was treated like royalty for a few days, which was really special.
Yeah, it's great to see you down in the West Country. Hopefully it's not too far before you come down to Sunday again.
No, we were looking at one in October, but I think we're going to be somewhere else. We've got another Taunton planned in October. We would like to come to St Day again before the year's out, but if we don't make it, we'll definitely be down again next year.
George, congratulations, mate, on a fantastic year.
Thank you, it's been great.
Right. So there you have it. George McMillan, a true great champion.
Stunts Radio. Other Orville podcasts just of you going round and round and circle round and circle round and circle round and circle round.
So what can I say about George's year? It's been what I can say. It's been brilliant. Now, whether the World Final Trophy is removed from his vice-like grip, I mean, it will take a very brave man to take it off him. It's been near enough welded to his hand all season long, and it's been great to see it. He's taken it, and whether he... But the only way I think anyone is going to take it off it if he's catch him taking a selfie, because George has been the selfie world champion, and then obviously remains to be seen. But George has definitely rewritten the book on how to be world champion. He's loved every minute of it, and rightly so. He deserves his year in the spotlight, and those who witnessed the win will never forget that night, and those who weren't there will be regretting it. Sometimes you got to hit the bottom before you reach the top, because when you reach the top, it makes it all the more sweeter. It's Johnny Hall saying goodbye from this special, the Geomac Golden Year, the champion story. The next chapter is unveiled on the 4th from 4 p.m. on Saturday over at Hensford in Staffordshire, in the former reservoir. It should be a good race, if nothing else. The atmosphere is going to be great. The thing's going to be great. And hopefully you guys will all do that. And all I can say to you guys who have been listening, thank you very much for listening. And just a bit of correspondence from the people who have been listening. Raymond Lennox, good evening to you, sir. And he said, a true gentleman and a great ambassador for the Gold Roof. I could not agree